Hey all, welcome back to ThinkTank episode 3. Today we're going to talk about how to reflect on tournament experiences and what you've learnt mental-wise. So we've got me, Draz, Unhaven.
Hello.
How.
Yo.
And just off his incredible raid performance, our super special guest, Frenzy.
Hi guys.
Oh my god! Dude, that's so good. So yeah, what have you been... How's it been beating over? You're super famous now. How's it been? What's life like?
Girls just, I don't have enough time in the day. Respond to his messages.
It's been pretty sick. I've watched the set back like at least 4 times now.
Nice.
It's just like it's so fun to watch like from the crowd's perspective as well. Everybody was behind me. It was so good.
God, I was so far away when you actually did it. I just heard cheers and nothing else.
How loud do you personally have your music? Like, could you hear people screaming dojo and just general making noise?
No, so like I've got noise cancelling earphones. It's the same ones that Leffen uses unintentionally.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right, Frenzy, carry on.
And it's the same one Set uses as well. And yeah, they just cut out pretty much everything. I have my music on like, I don't know, near high volume. Depends how loud the crowd is.
Yeah.
Like.
So this was pretty max. This was max volume, but surely people are
max volume and
the
noise cancelling thing on, and I could still kind of hear people, but not. You can't
make out like
listening in
words.
Conversations.
Yeah. Didn't distract necessarily.
No.
That's good. God. So have you had any sort of like big takeaways since raid then? Like, did you learn anything about yourself? Like, especially during your set with VA, because that's the first time, as far as I know, that you've got him that close.
I got him close in January. That was last stock as well.
Oh, okay, wow.
What tournament was that?
That was
SCR, was it not?
No, the Brighton one. You know the one where
yeah.
Played? Yeah.
Yeah,
that one went to last game, but that last game was on Battlefield, so it's kind of different. It's a different environment to being on last game FD.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Interesting.
But yeah, like takeaways, I'd say I learned something from playing you and Alpha Dash because I was preparing for Doc beforehand because I knew I'd probably have to bay him from looking at the brackets or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about the matchup the wrong way. Like I said to you, I'd been reading what other Falcos have said to like laser more and stuff like that, but it was actually just the complete wrong approach. So I think asking the other side of the matchup, like looking from the other character's perspective, is really important, and seeing what they struggle to deal with. Yeah, because I'm just looking at it from my point of view, not the other person.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I took away from raid, I think.
I think it's quite big as well, right? Because it's like a change of perspective in how to learn. So I guess that's quite...
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Quite interesting.
Because I always just do analysis of my own, like, of Falco, not of Doc or of Sheik or whatever.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
So when you asked, at what point were you like, maybe I should think about, like, the other character's perspective? Was that when you, like, grabbed Jack and you were like, oh, this would be really helpful?
Well, it was more
as at the moment, or were you just thinking about it beforehand?
Well, yeah, so Jack came over and was like, you've got to play Schlim, do you want some warm-up? And I was like, yeah, sure. I know your last whole Think Tank was on don't do that, but this is a rare exception.
Well, yeah.
It
was a lot of that time.
So I was just trying to implement some of the stuff I had looked at. And I was just trying out different things. And when I realized that the stuff that I was meant to be doing wasn't working, and the stuff that I did by accident was working, it kind of like clicked that maybe you shouldn't always do exactly what other people say without thinking about it from your own perspective, I guess.
Sure, yeah. Like, be a bit creative with it.
Yeah, like just saying just laser more doesn't really help.
Yeah,
that's just really that's just generic. Oh, it's a floaty, let me camp sort of mindset. It's not looking at the actual character and being like, which tools do they have to deal with me, and so what should I use, sort of thing.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
it is funny actually, because I feel like in my game when I played Jack, my advice for him for Ice Climbers was just down tilt more.
That was
yeah.
Think about how you're down tilting. Down tilt's amazing. Just do that.
And then it was all on me.
That's like an actual, like, and that's from your perspective though.
Sure.
Whereas
yeah,
people,
that was
I
me
wasn't...
actually analysing
Yeah, like I wasn't asking someone like Eagle like what annoys you when you play versus Falco. I was asking like in the Falco Discord.
Oh,
whatever.
Sure.
So-
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how
You
that's
weren't
not
asking
helpful.
the docs what's scary. You're asking the Falcos what they think is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, the other thing I had been doing for a bit was playing a bit of Doc, but
Oh, really?
it's still not the same because like other Falcos play different to me. They use different tools or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's just most effective to just think outside the box more, I guess. Like, don't always just try to implement what other people tell you to do.
Yeah, I like that. It was so weird, like, thinking about Raid. I feel like we all had super different experiences, right? Like, Frenzy, you obviously did, like, ridiculously well. Ross did kind of as expected, I think. Like, you got top 8.
I thought
I
Schlim was a
think-
good win.
Yeah, Schlim
was,
was
like,
good.
Back and forth on who would win that. And especially since he just 3-0'd
AD.
Alpha Dash as well. Yeah, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this could be a bit hard, but
It
he
was
obviously
like, I think
handled it pretty well. which
I'm
is good.
still on like
Yeah.
a high.
And then, how did you end up actually doing?
Got destroyed by Ryan S. Wasn't playing good, which I wasn't very happy about. Then I
Okay.
beat
You beat X1 twice, right? I remember
BX1.
that.
Yeah, he stepped it up
Wait,
in
twice?
Yeah, I beat him in pools, and then I beat him in
Yeah.
bracket.
Oh, okay, I didn't know you rematched him, bro.
Yeah, he stepped up in bracket. It was like actual Trist. I remember having close games, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to really pull out the bag of this one.
Yeah.
Played Schlim, 3-1 it was, but I didn't play good, and all sorts of things went wrong in that set. But yeah.
Did you try to laser camp him?
Yeah, just went horribly. It just wasn't fun at all. My heart was just not in it. So
Okay.
that's something I've
That's
been
interesting.
thinking about.
What? So like when playing him, you weren't thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I was just playing
gonna
too hard for the win. I realised afterwards.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
Jesus Christ, I really wanted to win that for some reason, like in the most degenerate, easy way possible. Well, not
opposed
even
to-
easy because it's like a logical thing, somewhat, because it's so hard for Mario to get around. I keep thinking it from like a real high level perspective of, oh, why the hell would you ever go in? Like, there's no real reason to. But you do have to mix it up and just play like how they're
Right.
actually playing, as opposed to just like thinking, oh, I'm just gonna laser all day and get the one
yeah,
there
absolutely.
or
I think
whatever the fuck.
it's almost insulting to simplify it down to that sort of level, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Matchups aren't like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, exactly.
which
yeah.
I've come to realize, reflect
then-
upon.
Yeah, oh, there it is. You've learned to not just try and dilute it down.
yeah.
It's so weird. And then I guess my bracket was like kind of last game sets with two people that are pretty good. So thinking about that's been kind of interesting, and like what that means. Because I'm not sure if you guys have had experiences where you've been so close to beating somebody so many times. I guess Elliot, now you with VA, but
Yeah.
so what were your experiences with that?
I've had it before with other people.
Mm.
I've been close. Well, recently with Alpha Dash a load of times. Like, 2 of our 3 sets this season have been last stock, last hit. So it does get kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
tilting. Like, next time you're like, oh, I was so close to beating him or whatever.
So when you lose the set, like you get all the way to the end, like you draw them all the way to the back wall. Like how do you kind of use that to do better next time? Like what's been your experience with it?
Well, I take the mindset that like, if I'm this close without, well, for the first time anyway, if I'm this close without analyzing the set, then with analyzing the set, I'll do way better next time, and I've got a much better chance of winning.
Okay.
So that's how I saw it the first time. But when it happens the second and third time, I think it's a different situation.
Sure. Yeah.
right. It becomes
It
more
depends
mental.
how you lose, I think.
Okay. What? So what do you
Like-
mean? So like if it's really close or?
Well, if it's I don't know how to describe it. Like, say when you you had 2-3-2 last stock sets at Raid, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you the only set I watched was versus Ross, and that was like a last like a chokey set, like at the end.
Yeah. It got a
I
bit
thought
weird.
It was just a load of like spamming and trying to like get a kill move or whatever, and yeah. So when it's, I don't know my point here really, but
But it's like does it
Kinda
depend
like-
on like game plan versus mental, right? I
yeah,
guess
it
maybe.
depends how you like. If you just lost because you started choking or whatever, then you need to take away from that. Like, I need to work on keeping composure, regardless of the situation. Whereas if it's they just outplayed you, and in the last stock situation, then that's different. You need to take away different stuff from it.
Yeah,
I
for
guess.
sure. Being real aware of like just your game matchup knowledge going into it, and whether that was like at fault, I guess, whether to when you're losing.
Yeah.
Like if they're just doing this one thing, like you can clearly see it's happening, but you just don't have the answer. You can't freestyle the answer to it, and then it's just a matchup thing, really. But also because they're better, slightly.
Because it's funny you kind of paint it like that, because that's sort of where I'm at right now. Like, I felt like for the first time, which is something I really have respected from Raid now, is that I finally understand kind of how Icy's Math is meant to go, I guess, if I want to put it in simple terms. But, like, there were just other things that I needed to work out, like, mentally, and I don't know. Like, I started the set with Ross thinking, oh, he probably won't wobble me at first, and then as soon as I got grabbed, I got wobbled immediately, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, he's wobbling me now? Okay, so this is interesting. Because for people that don't know, like, Ross, I don't know, like, describe it. Like, what is your position?
So my way of improving has always been, I want to try and play to my opponent's strengths, and I want to limit my skill, or at least my tools, so that I'm really pushing myself at all times. So it's weird that some people think of me as to me, it's weird that some people say that I sandbag, because I always see it as I literally couldn't be trying harder because I put myself at a really bad position. So
sick.
No, I understand.
So that's always my thing. So it completely depends on how I view my opponent. Like, I actually see Jack as someone really good, which is why I wobble, because it's like, well, I think I need these tools. That's it. That's just like
right. Yeah, I
how
understand.
my mind goes. Is do I think I need the tools or don't I?
Okay. Yeah. So then that threw me through a loop, and I don't know. So it was strange. There was other mental battles going on, but stuff to think about.
Because I remember I spoke to you, Elliot, right after you played Sechi. Mm-hmm. It was a time that you played Sechi, and like you beat him pretty convincingly that time. I'm not sure which tournament it was at. But you told me that you felt that actually you realised that when you're playing Sechi, it is just a battle of who can keep themselves mentally composed.
Yeah, it might have been from.
Yeah,
no, we've played a lot of sets. We've played like 7 sets in this season, but but that's a good thing. Like, I think that's. We're both really good players, and it just comes down to who's playing better on the day. It doesn't feel like there's any, or at least from my half, it doesn't feel like there's any mindset stuff going on there that's affecting the outcome. One thing I did want to mention, actually, that came to mind with the 3-2 last stock stuff is depends on your outlook on it. Like, if you're pessimistic or optimistic, I think. So you can look at it as like, oh my god, I was so close to winning and I choked it. I've lost this one opportunity for a win, or you can see it as like, this is a win that I can definitely get in the future, and like draw confidence from it, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, actually, because I had a conversation with Ross like after the day was kind of said and done, and I'd had my close sets with people, and I found myself being like weirdly content about the whole thing, because I didn't see it as I've ruined my chance. I saw it as a, wow, look at how far I've come. These are like really good people, and they were so close.
And you could be putting in so much work when you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody
especially
can,
especially because it was Ice Climbers as well, for me personally. That was a huge block for a bit. Whereas now I feel a lot more confident going forward.
So actually, so you, from my understanding, you can elaborate on this, but I was under the impression that part of that block came from your performance at New Wave.
yeah. Losing to Bomber in the way I did was not great.
What was the New Wave story?
Basically, it was no matter how my bracket lined up, I was going to have to play a good Ice Climbers. It was either going to be Yivo or it was going to be Bombo, and both of these people.
Oh yeah, because they played the Ditto in Losers Round 1.
They did.
Yeah.
So no matter what happened, I had to play one of them, and it was it worked out that way, and I ended up playing Bomber. But I knew before the tournament started, I was like, okay, Icy's are fine as Doc, but now I play Marth and I'm not going back to Doc, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing and super stressing about it before the tournament, because it's how Arcadians are, right? They're super high stakes. So when I actually got there,
definitely.
I only had the most fun, I don't know, the most basic grips on some parts of the matchup, and it really showed. It you can see the ball just bad.
Yeah,
but Yeah, I don't know. And that tournament was just very stakes were at their absolute highest
Yeah.
for all the plebs, I guess.
For the unranked players.
Yeah, there it is.
You know, leading up to Raid Frenzy, did you do any like real specific prep for it? It's like, oh, it's a big national, I gotta do blah blah blah, or how was it?
To be honest, I was concentrating more on schoolwork. I had a load of like mock tests coming up, so I spent more time on that.
Right.
I did put time into playing Melee. I played a bit of net play. Thought about the game a lot in like my spare time. That was the main thing, actually. Just like thinking over situations that come up a lot.
Yeah.
I did a bit of analysis, like I said. I did prepare for Doc because I knew that was a weakness, and for once I actually had video footage to look at, which
Yeah.
helped a lot.
Oh, you Mr.
'Cause
Lemon. Yeah.
Yeah, because I played Mr. Lemon, who's one of the... I think he's like borderline in New England, but he's really good. And I lost to him at Shine. But that's the first time since I played Rash like 2 years ago that I've actually had footage of that matchup, and it's always been one I've struggled with. So I was like, I'm going to use this opportunity to like see if I can improve at the matchup, like see how much knowledge I've gained from Shine to now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I prepared for that. And I've also been working on more like mentality stuff as well.
Okay, what, following Raid or before?
Just after Shine, I just had a different like. I just reassessed my situation after Shine, I think.
Oh, right, okay. So what were your kind of
Like, what did you
takeaways?
feel beforehand?
My reflection.
How did you?
Yeah, that, if you never thought of that, you could do.
Any excuse to save a time.
All right, yeah. So beforehand, I was like, going into it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do really well at these like Boston tournaments. I'll probably get top 3 at their locals or whatever and stuff like that. And it just completely didn't happen. I was looking at the bracket for Shine as well, and I was like, I can get top 96 easy because I hadn't heard of any of these names. And then you get there, and it's just like 90-man local. You're not ready for all these names that you've never heard of. They're really good.
Man.
And it threw me off a lot because I was just like, you know, big fish, small
Yeah,
pond
yeah.
sort of syndrome.
Yeah, it really hits at home when you go to America, I guess.
Yeah, because like, I've been to Europe and I was like, okay, there are more people that are my level, so I'm, you know, probably top 30, top 40 Europe now, probably. But then you go to America and it was just like, I got like 17th, 9th at the weeklies. One weekly I went 1 and 2 at.
Holy
It's just
moly.
like I was just ridiculously out of my depth, and it just like kind of made me realize I shouldn't be ranking myself because there's no point. There's so many people that it doesn't even matter if you're like 701st in the world or
Yeah.
whatever. It doesn't really make a difference until you're like
The top
you know,
50,
at the
essentially,
top-
or
yeah,
100,
at
yeah.
the top echelon.
Whatever
people.
standards you have for
That
yourself.
like precipice.
Yeah. So after Shine, I was thinking about myself. I actually posted a tweet longer on it on the way back, and I also spoke to
And you can follow Frenzy at...
at
There you
8BP
go.
underscore friends.
Oh, baby. Thank God.
Sick.
No.
But yeah, so I have there's a player called Vati in the Bristol scene who's doing sports psychology. So I spoke to him a lot about mentality stuff. And it just helped me a lot because I knew that was my problem at Shine. It wasn't necessarily my skill, it was more my approach to playing people
Sure.
I don't know and in new environments, I guess. Because I was just like, okay, I don't know these people. They're probably, you know, it's just a weekly. I can just play it like I do at Bristol weeklies, and it's completely different. Like, the size of the MOM I went to was the size of Raid, and it was a weekly.
That's
So you need to have a
insane.
completely different
Yeah. Yeah.
approach to it. And I wasn't ready for that. I mean, now I try to treat all tournaments the same. I don't want to go into it too much in depth because there was a lot of like explanation behind it, but I basically tried to treat a weekly like it's Evo sort of thing. I put the
wow.
same amount of effort into every
Yeah,
tournament
good
I go
shout.
to now.
Mhm.
Every set, if I'm playing some new player that I know I can four stock, then I'll still put the same effort into it as I do versus Robbie.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I'd imagine that'll help with just general consistency levels as well. Because you're
Definitely
so used to playing at that
consistency
level.
Yeah, That was like one thing I've been trying to work on for the past, well, since the last ranking. My what brought me down below R23 on the last ranking was consistency.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I did have a few worse losses than him. So I was like, okay, I'm going to bring my bottom level up. Because I was also dropping random sets to people at weeklies as well. So I was like, I'm going to bring my bottom level up and then focus on my top level to bring it up. And then, you know, I can work my way up slowly and get rid of these bad losses.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I thought I'd seen that consistency improvement, but I hadn't seen any results at the top. So I was feeling kind of a bit down. And that's what I wanted from Shine, was to get that big win. But it's more about learning from it and like taking it slow, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the results will come in time,
Yeah.
I guess.
Damn.
Do you feel like the results have come now following Raid? Like, is being over
Yeah. Raid was
kind of a badge?
pretty good for results, not
Yeah.
gonna lie. But yeah, that I think that was just a one-off. I'm actually quite confused about how preparing less has made me play better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was talking to these guys afterwards. Well, we had a little call, and about what you said to me about wanting to go in cold versus peach.
Who did?
You to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what was it? VA plays completely different to Triff, or any
Oh,
peach
yeah,
event
yeah.
plays
So,
different to peach.
Tri-
Yeah.
If you watch the set of me versus Treff and the set of me versus VA, the matchup looks completely different. And like warming up versus lower level peaches makes it, you know, you're in the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
I feel like. I also feel like if you warm up for too long, usually you end up overthinking it. The reason I did it versus Doc was because I didn't have that exposure to Doc.
Yeah, that's exactly what we said yesterday.
I need to take,
Yeah, that's what I was
I need to take
thinking.
all the practice I can get, and even if it doesn't work out in tournament, I can still apply the knowledge I got from my analysis into the friendlies and see what's working and what's not.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was also using it as a resource, not just like a last minute.
So this is
sort
something
of-
that I've been
Yeah,
thinking about for
exactly.
a while.
Two birds, one stone.
Because I I played Shalon and Time Muffin, and I kind of got rocked. Time Muffin.
Shalon and who? Sorry.
Albion 2.
Ah, okay,
kinda
yeah.
rocked me, and I knew what they were doing, but
Yeah.
like I just couldn't figure out a way to. And I feel like I've actually overcome this now because I feel like my set versus Prof was really good and I was really happy with it. But
Okay.
I found that I couldn't get the people that I were going up against and I could practice against couldn't play to the way that they were, and they couldn't I couldn't practice against them properly. So I felt that everything that I did in terms of preparation was all like mental or video watching. So I wondered
Yeah.
if you had like a similar experience where, because like the people when you like are thinking about playing VA, there's not many people you can practice against, as you
Yeah.
said.
I have to practice versus VA basically on that play if I can. But yeah, that happens sometimes. So when I play versus Falcon, it's pretty much always Sechi, and he plays completely different to say
Sure.
Alox, who I played in
Okay.
HF LAN. So I had to look at both videos of like Sechi styles, like Wizrobe, or watching my sets versus him, and also watching different Falcons. So like Nun play
Right,
versus
sure.
West Balls or stuff like that, to try and because I'm not going to be able to practice versus their style. So you pretty much have to theory craft for it. I don't think there is a way to practice against
Yeah.
it when you don't have the people. Or you could pick up the character and play that way, I guess, but that's time consuming and
Yeah.
I don't
Like you
think
can't
it's
just ask Sechi to play. Like, hey, can you play a bit
Like
wonkier
Nun.
just for like a few games? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, I mean,
Won't
I
happen.
guess you could be like, can you try using this tool and see? Because then they learn something as
that's
well,
true.
right? So
Yeah,
if you
didn't-
said, because if you said to a fox like I know one of the things from the Albion set was you weren't fast
Yes.
falling shines to ledge
That
or
was the
something.
thing.
Yeah, so if you were like to your fox practice partner or whatever, can you try doing this, like implementing it? Because I'm struggling against it. Like you're both learning from that,
Yeah,
so it
yeah.
is worthwhile, I think. But yeah, other than that, I think theory crafting is the only way. So I think you did take the right approach, like
Yeah.
with watching videos. and there isn't much more you can do other than learning from the tournament set
Yeah,
you play.
I think it's interesting. For me, that was definitely like it was more of a mental hurdle. It was the idea that I feel like I feel there's very few characters in the game that my character struggles to pressure. Like even like Falco and stuff, I can like wave dash through lasers and like I can just do things to pressure Falco. But with Fox, it's like he's so quick and can just dash dance out of my range. I didn't know how to play that pressure style.
Yeah.
And I think, and like the more I was thinking of it, it was like, so there was much less watching videos and more like, how do I make my style work with what I want to do? Like I've recognized what the issue is, and a lot of videos aren't helping because it's like, a lot of them are just like, well, just camp and then wait until they get impatient. It's like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's just not the way I play. So it's like, I had to find that ground.
Yeah. Like, that's not your skill tree. You haven't put points into camping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've developed to try and rush them down and
100%, yeah.
scare the hell out of them.
Yeah. I'm interested,
So,
has either
way of looking
you
at
or
it.
Hao, have you felt like, because like with me and Frenzy, if we're looking to beat someone above us in the PR, we're not going to find many people that can help us within the UK. So how does it feel from you guys? If you like, 'cause
Yeah,
if you
that's
wanna
very true.
If you want to beat like, say Hen, for example, you may have more people, like maybe like Lauster or like VA or, you know, like, so have you
Red.
had an experience similar to that?
Yeah, I've been trying to beat Frenzy, and it's not been going too well. Like I've got one of my good friends. He beat Libbers, and he was a random like. Well, people know him as a net play guy, but he's been playing for ages, and I play against him quite a lot. He's pretty decent Falco, so I play him a lot in prep, thinking, like specifically if Frenzy were to do this, or is that a good option? Should he be getting away with that? So I could think of it in that kind of terms.
Yeah.
So it's not strictly thinking, Frenzy doesn't do this, and he does do this, blah, blah, blah. It's more so, is that a good option that Falco can actually do? And if it is, cool, I can get around it. Or I will get around it.
Is it like seeing the bigger picture of the
Yeah,
matchup, as it were?
for sure, yeah.
Because I guess I've never done it actively, or not that I can think of anyway, but I've definitely had a kind of passive experience, because I used to live with like a really good Falco called Lima.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys...
Yeah, I know.
It used to be called Edamame or whatever. So I played him, like, basically daily, and I think by the end of, like, our year living together, I feel like I just understood all the really basic stuff about Falco to, like, a T. And it was to the point where, like, I went to Ireland for a tournament called Schism, and I think basically every single Falco, because that was, like, the peak of my experience against that character. So, like, I think every single Falco I played at that tournament, I think even including you, Elliot, we're getting kind of lagged out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, whoa, this is really weird. Like, I super understand this character. Whereas like, I don't live with him now.
I was just like, I can't do anything. Just, like,
it was weird.
I still feel like that now.
Well, yeah, it worked out for you, but I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But it was a strange experience. So I guess I've had it without really knowing about it. But
I think
no. It's something I'm probably going to have to explore more
think that's
as
an
I start.
Question is, do you
trying
guys
to be
find that you're particularly good against, like, the person that you practice with the most? Is that your best matchup? Like, say, I practice with Octopus the most, so Falcon might be my best matchup, but I feel like it's becoming less and less my best. So I don't know if you guys have had similar...
It might go both ways, right? Because on one hand, it makes you like, oh yeah, I know all this character's tools. But on the other hand, you're like, wait a minute, I know how much this character can also just body me so hard if they play it right. So maybe that's kind of different. But yeah, Falco's definitely, or like, at least for a time, was my best matchup.
For me, personally, in the Midlands, no. Because I guess the most card I'd most play is... good sets-wise would be Nathan, Bombo. And I don't think Ice Climber's my best matchup by far. I feel like probably my worst still. I'd say my best is Fox, but I have no idea. Might be from playing Prof on Netplay. Yeah, but so that's like my actual practice partner, so to speak. Just Netplay Foxes.
So Elliot, is yours Marth then, I guess, because of Icon?
No,
or...
I'd actually say, like, it's weird, because when Yivo used to come to weeklies and play every week, I got really good versus Ice Climbers. But then I've played Aiken for, like, 2 years straight at weeklies in tournament now, and I still don't feel any better versus Marth. Like,
so we've got a range of opinions.
yeah, and like I played versus Soy for a long time as well, So I got really good versus Pika, and then I went to at Shine. I lost to a Pika there.
Oh, what, in bracket or?
Yeah, in bracket at the
Oh,
first
wow.
weekly I went to.
Oh, right.
So I just kind of, I don't know if it's because I haven't played against his Pika in like a year or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it depends. It's also how much you can't just learn it from playing the person.
Yeah,
I think.
or whether
You
it's
have to
because you were
combine
just
it.
fundamentally better than Soy at the time and just kind of beating through that. Nothing like too Pikachu specific.
Yeah, because it depends. Like I've never really analyzed my sets versus, say, Aiken, but I kind of did work on stuff for versus Yivo because he got really close to beating me at some points.
I remember
Like
seeing
we had a lot of 3-2 sets, which I'm getting with Aiken now, so I will be starting to look more into that matchup. But like when Yivo was getting close to beating me, I was like, okay, I need to go home, practice killing Nana off the top. So I practice my shine up B stuff that I do.
I know those ones.
Until that's consistent. Yeah, but like I miss that now because I don't have Yivo to practice versus, so I haven't felt the need to. So I don't know when it's off, if that makes sense. But I mean, that's just a kind of privilege because you can't practice versus every character at your weekly.
Yeah, unless you're in New England, apparently.
Yeah, they literally had like a Dark, a Pikachu.
Oh my god.
They
Insane.
had every character. They had a Game & Watch that I lost to as well. Wasn't good.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I know the peak of your region for that sort of stuff, in my mind anyway, the kind of Bristol Ices effect was when what tournament was it? I don't remember the name, but Omadon beat Doimling in pools, right?
Yeah,
and that was just
it was either
huge.
Icebreaker or Awakening 2.
Yeah, and that's insane to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just went to Germany and effed them all up.
Beat Doimling, yeah, and discredited my win.
Speaking of Germany,
Yeah.
what thinking are you doing for Awakening? Any sort of kind of last week
Prep.
stuff that you're working on? Given
Well,
grades just
I've
happened?
looked at the attendees list. That's like one of the main things I do to prepare is just look at the attendees list, see what matchups in general,
okay.
and like at a first glance, which am I like? Yes, I want to play versus this person. No, I don't want to play versus. And then I, work on the ones that I'm not feeling as confident about running into.
No, you just rig the bracket in it. So yeah,
Just give him a dial.
yeah, slip him some money.
Easy as.
Yeah, I don't really like looking at predicted brackets anymore. I tried to avoid it, but it's pretty hard. Like at Raid, I was stood outside forever just talking to people, so I got a lot of like, what's your bracket looking like sort of questions.
Oh, yeah.
So I just ended up like hearing it from word of mouth what my bracket is, which is kind of annoying. But
It's like,
Talk of a town, Frenzy. Talk of a town. Frenzy's got VN.
But yeah, so I think I just look at the attendees list. Like I don't want to be practicing last minute for matches because I personally end up overthinking it as well. So I'm trying to stop myself from looking at brackets now.
Because it's
Just
interesting
the attendees.
you say that you prepare for your worst matchups, because that was a mental hurdle I had to get over like a while ago, I think. Like, I would always find myself going to, like, Precinct was a good example. I would go to Precinct, and there were, like, loads of people I wanted to play against, and I think I would have fun playing against. So, like, Fade, or they're good PR players, whatever. Not scared about losing to them. But then there were, like, some people in, like, the tier below that I, in my head, knew, like, I should not be losing to this guy. And then that thought would, like, stay in my head, and, like, I don't want to lose this person, or, like, I don't want to play them just in case. So then, like, someone who was like that with me for a while was Pilot, the Peach player.
Yeah.
Just because in my head I knew, like, that there is a chance I could lose to this person if I play him in bracket. And I would have absolutely no way of justifying it to myself.
That's interesting.
And I think...
So did you practice Peach then? Or
Yeah, it was a mix of... Well, I played Reb quite a bit at one point and got good at the matchup, but that was also separate. And it was also just coming to terms with the fact that you've really just got to be honest about, like, if I lose to this person, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? I think you had to sort of internalize, or maybe not you, but I found it helpful to, like, internalize, like, realistically, if I lose to this person, it's not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah,
Like, I lost to
everyone's
Cheesy
bad.
Air. Like, like shit just happens.
Yeah, like you want to be bad. Imagine just being prof. He only gets competition if VA's
oh,
around
mate.
or trip or
Yeah.
over. That'd be so boring. You'd
I just
hate
think-
it.
I think it's an easy pitfall to fall into. And I think being aware of the fact that you're scared of specific people for no reason other than pride is
Yeah.
quite...
Yeah, essentially that's
a weird
the only
pitfall.
reason.
I did
yeah.
a lot of I realized after playing, like I brought it up before, but after I lost to Octopus, that a huge thing in my mind was the feeling that I'm not okay with losing to him. And it was just like, and when I went into the grand set, I was like, oh, I need to say that, like, if I feel that it's okay to lose, if I let myself feel that it's okay, it's not just like this thing that's like leaning over me as I'm playing. This like threat of losing isn't as daunting if I feel that it's okay.
Yeah. Maybe it's something everyone's been through, huh? I don't know.
Yeah, I think everybody's like that when they first start competing.
Yeah.
Because like winning feels like the ultimate thing, and if you don't achieve it, then it's the end of the world.
Especially as you start going through the different levels, right? Because I didn't have it when I started because I didn't care. But like when I first felt like I'm going to something and people like there's a somewhat of an expectation that I'm going to start beating like good people now. And yeah, so maybe it's a road bump for everyone.
Yeah, one thing I've like started to think about that is something Triff said when I was staying with him in America, and I was like, why do you never get salty? Like, he's had a lot of close 3-2 sets where he's like choked or whatever versus Pew Pew versus Moon.
Wizrobe.
Abate. Was it Abate?
No, he beat Abate. Triff won
he
game
beat
5,
Abate.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, he's had all those sets and they've been really close, but he's never ever seemed like salty or emotional about it, and he was just like, I don't feel like I deserve to win. And that, I think, struck a chord with me, because I was like, it's not, you don't automatically deserve the right to win against this person just because your rank's better than them or because you know more about the game or whatever. It's more, did they outplay you or not? I felt that today. Like, I played Aiken, and he was solidly beating my Falco, and I was like, I'm okay with losing because I'm just getting outplayed. Like, if I lose, then it's my fault.
Yeah, no, I think that's super valuable. Like, internalizing that is a huge... That's actually super impressive. I didn't know that Triff felt that way.
Yeah, that's literally... It was just one sentence, and it just completely clicked in my brain. Like, this is how you should be thinking.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't deserve it. You shouldn't just be going into it thinking, I've already won this set, or I should be winning this set. You have to earn the win.
Like, don't think of losing as losing something. Think of, if you beat this person, you've gained a victory.
Yeah.
Don't think like, if I lose this guy,
you haven't won it already.
I think that's,
exactly.
it speaks volumes, because it is like, when you play the same sort of people over and over, it does feel like you're only losing. Where it's like, if I lose to somebody at my locals that I've beaten like 10 times in a row, it's hard to think like, this was a good win for them and they've improved to do this. Good job, them.
Yeah, as opposed to, oh god, I am awful at this game.
It must have been
I'm
me.
just gonna pack it in. Selling my GameCube. Who wants to buy? Let me know.
Oh no. God, that's so good. Yeah, I don't know. It's huge.
Yeah. Well, what are you at next, Frenzy? UK wise? Well, there's nothing left in the UK, is there? For the next 2 months?
There's Big in Bristol.
Oh god. Alright, do your piece.
Go on, advertise it, Frenzy. Go on.
Big.
So it's the 28th of October.
He's got it ready! The speech is carry on.
Sign up on Smash GG. It's in the Southwest Smash page. It's in Melly UK. There's me, Hao, and Sechi going. Aiken is offering £10 to any unranked player that beats him. He's going to be handing out a lot of money that tournament.
Dude, that's hilarious. Oh my god. Alright, well.
So if you want to take some of Bristol's money, then
I'll
sign up.
No.
Cool.
There's also 64 if you're into that as well.
Wait, what?
Fucking crickets. Yeah, 64.
Like, the NTSC setups and everything. Oh.
No, it's PAL.
Boo.
I was gonna say, I don't think many people.
Damn. But yeah, I also vouch for Bristol tournaments being good. All the guys are cool.
I was thinking of
I've
going
never actually been.
Real varied skill level also.
as
real varied.
a soft, I'm thinking of going to, because my boy
that's
G
amazing.
is going for CG.
You definitely put interested on the Facebook.
He said that if I went, he will. So there you go. It's a package deal.
What more do you need?
Nice.
G is attending Bristol. There you go. That's
damn.
all you need.
Nice. So I guess kind of closing thoughts. I mean, maybe. So who did you end up thinking when you were looking at the Awakening brackets or attendees, who are you really wanting to fight or play against, I guess?
I saw Timmy signed up, and I'd like to play versus him because I know the Falco Ditto is kind of weak for me, and it's one of the hurdles I'm gonna have to overcome if I want to beat, say, Fuzziness or prove myself as like the best Falco in EU. Because like at the moment I feel really weak in the matchup. Like I played Rowan at Raid, and that was a pretty close set actually. I'd played him on net play, and I was like kind of getting tilted at net play friendly, so I was like, who is this guy? I've never even seen him play. I've never seen him on any bracket, and he's actually like decent.
It's the London effect.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was actually helpful because I went into, if I hadn't have had that like forewarning, then I wouldn't have respected him as much, I don't think. Or I would have like naturally not respected him as much. I am trying to respect everyone though now. But yeah. So yeah, I want to work on the Falco Ditto. I want to see what improvements I can make in that matchup.
Nice.
And I want to play Prof as well because I haven't played Prof since SCR.
Yeah, that's actually
which is a long time ago.
Damn. Oh my word. Wait, which SCL?
Last chapter.
Oh yeah, flip. That was a while ago.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. Like I've gotten close to playing him, but I've always felt like one round short.
Okay.
So yeah, I would like to play him, even if it does mean UK knocks each other out or whatever. I still want a chance to.
It's a good goal. Good goal. Like meet Prof in bracket.
Yeah, it's not even beat Prof. It's literally just get to him.
Yeah.
Which means I've got to be more consistent and like work my way up.
What about you, Jack?
Nice.
What do you like? As I guess just a reflection of your just entire Smash experience going into your next tournament.
Oh, we said it again.
Just dropping those names.
I'm very excited to like start, I don't know, beating people, and I feel like super happy with where I'm at right now, which I think is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like now, I don't think there are many people that if they see my name in a bracket are just gonna be like, oh, Straz free. I can't imagine there'd be too many people thinking that anyway. So that's a good stage to be at in my mind anyway. Just like scaring people and doing well. So I'm not sure what I'm going to next. Maybe big. So we'll see what's going on.
Sick.
So yeah, what about you? Like I don't even know what you or how have got next actually.
What tournament wise? I'll be
oh, you're a big. Yeah,
I'm a big. Yeah. Big. Also, I
he's gonna try and beat me.
Just shut up. Yeah, I realised I've got to play the game like an absolute maniac now because I just think it's so much more fun being in your face all the time for no apparent reason. I'm just gonna play like unsafe, like super not play to win, just going insane. So we'll see how that goes at the weekly I've got on Thursday. Coventry, for any Midlands people who are listening in on this, myself will be there. Leon's coming. Leon.
See the maddest how you've ever
Samus
seen.
Player, net play boy. Yeah. And all the Midlands crew. And Nathan should
Worst
be there.
case. Worst case, you'll be able to
like
take
we
stuff
should
away
be
from that
plugging
and
things,
like,
Jack.
put it in later
left
on.
out here.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to plug. I don't know. Come to London Weeklies.
Come to Cambridge, you can win pods. Come on,
Pogs.
Alright, that's fine.
Alright, cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say. So yeah, I guess good chat, guys. GG's all.
Thanks.